Hello everyone. So I'm really excited about making this video. It's been over 6 months now that the Myriad Legends community campaign has been going on. 6 months since we have come out of beta and been playing in this mega campaign. I'm not even quite sure what to call it. A community campaign, a living campaign, a persistent world campaign. I don't know exactly, but there's a bunch of GMs and a bunch of players all together on my Discord server playing in Ikoros. So the world of Ikoros that you might know from my books, my newsletters, a number of my videos and adventures here on my channel. So it's this shared world campaign that we're all playing in, aiming for great adventures, trying to focus on high quality adventures, on great world building, on great lore that stays consistent, on a world that has coherence to it. Now, it is all a work in progress. The whole thing's being kind of built and fleshed out as we go, but those are our aims, to really keep the heart and soul of mythic adventure alive. So there's a bunch of players and GMs, and then I'm the author or the coordinator of the whole thing. And I have a bunch of information and data that I can show with you guys. It's been really cool looking over the various stats of, the different phases and everything that we've grown to in the last 6 months. And then also we are looking for new applicant GMs. If you are interested in applying to become a game master in Myriad Legends, I'm going to give you some instructions a little bit later in the video. I'll have like some steps to follow for that. And by the way, the game masters also can be players. Like if you're a game master, you can also play in sessions as well. So as I mentioned, it's set in Ikoros, this world that tries to take the best from old school and new school fantasy adventure. We use the core 5e books. We use basically the main 5e source books as well, the big ones like Xanathar's Guide and Tasha's and those sorts of things. And it also uses the books that I publish, so things like Esper's Emporium of Esoterica and Monstrous Heroes. So it's been over half a year, more than 6 months now, since we came out of beta as of, the moment that I'm recording this video. And things have been more fantastic than we ever anticipated. We didn't really know what to expect. This whole thing's kind of an experiment. Really, we were just kind of hoping that, some people would play some cool games of D&D and the whole thing wouldn't explode as soon as it launched and the wheels fall off and the whole thing go off the rails immediately. There are some reasons why it's been so good. Part of it is because we have certain guiding principles that we're trying to follow, where we focus foremost on great adventures and great world building, and we try not to bog down into other things and let us get distracted. Another way I could put that is, of all the different things you could concern yourself about when it comes to role-playing games and a social experience with groups and people, we try to keep our aim on great adventures, and everything must serve that. Nothing gets put higher than that. We focus on it being this one single universe, this one setting. It's not a multiverse that connects out to infinite other IPs and infinite other worlds and infinite timelines. There's just this one cosmology with an internal consistency and just one of each person. There's not an infinite timeline, infinite echoes of everybody. We try to stick to a style, or rather kind of an array of styles, where it's high fantasy plus mythic fantasy plus historical inspiration plus what else? A bit of swords and sorcery and dark fantasy in there. There's a lot in there, but there's a lot that's not. It's basically a serious setting, and we try to make it awesome. And we encourage people to avoid role-playing as though modern-day people. We're trying to immerse into this ancient world of myth and wonder. So I have some interesting stats and data to show here. I'm going to break it down into 2 seasons. The winter 2025, which technically began in December of 2024, but winter 2025 and spring 2025. And those are actually the 2 calls for applicant GMs that we did. So we had a round of applicant GMs in the winter and then another one in spring. So how the process works is an applicant sends in an email to this one central inbox and then prepares a pilot session, which is a short 1-hour session. The applicant is guided through the process and that way, can get your bearings right on how to navigate the Discord and what the different channels are, and kind of how we do things. And then runs a 1-hour pilot session, which is like a tryout. It's like an application, and that gives us a good sampling of that GM's style and skill set and personality and organizational skills, etc. All right, so looking at some data here, in winter of 2025, that was the first call for applicant GMs, we had 53 applicants. 9 opted out. For whatever reason, something came up and they couldn't continue with the process, or they changed their mind, or whatever happened. These people let us know that they couldn't run the pilot session. So that's 17% opted out. And then of those that ran pilot sessions, 20 were declined, politely declined. That's 38% of the total. And then 24 GMs were accepted. So 24% of the total applicants were accepted and became, full-on GMs. Now, of those, 15 went on to become active GMs, like actually were running adventures and getting into the swing of things. So out of 53 applicants, 28% of those, 15, ended up being active GMs in Myriad Legends in the community campaign. Then in spring of 2025, put out this call in March, we received 38 applicants. 9 of those opted out, so that was 24% of the applicants opted out. 8 never ran a pilot. They maybe even agreed to the pilot session date and then never ran it. Just kind of faded away or ghosted or whatnot. So that's 21% just never ran a session. Of the pilot sessions that were run, 3 GMs were declined, so only 8%. And then 18 were accepted, so 47% of the applicants got accepted. And then of those 18 GMs who got accepted, 8 of them went on to become active GMs in the community. So 21% became active GMs. So the percent accepted was almost identical between the two quarters. The big change is that the percentage in the GMs declined dropped way down. But the percent that never ended up running their campaign, that just kind of ghosted or changed their mind without saying anything, that went way up. There were basically none of those the first time around, but then 8 of them, 21% of the applicants on the second wave. I have a theory as to why that is. On the first round, the applicants didn't have any basis of comparison, because at that point we had just come out of beta and it was just myself and 2 other guys running games as GMs. There really weren't many games going on, so no one really knew what they were getting into. But then on the second round of applicants in spring, they did have a basis of comparison because we had a bunch of GMs running sessions. So they started running sessions and checking things out and getting a good sampling of what is going on in Myriad Legends, what's the standard or the high bar that's being set. And then from getting this basis of comparison, maybe they suspected, I don't know if I'm going to get approved, and just ended up not running a pilot. This is incredible to say, but in both April and May, each of those months had 100 sessions run in our community. The world of Ikoros is coming to life more and more, and people are loving it. There are currently over 20 GMs active in Myriad Legends, and hundreds of characters have gone on adventures. Some of them have met their demise on those adventures, by the way. I'm also blown away how certain GMs run so many sessions. Check this out. In the month of April, JK ran 15 sessions. Felix ran 13. Drew ran 11. Noblegun ran 9. James from KC 7. Jor 7. And then everyone else from there ran 4, 3, 2. I ran 2 that month, and a couple ran just a single session. Then in the month of May, Noblegun ran 12, JK 11, Felix 10, James 10, Shimble 9, Drew 7, Lucky 7, and then again 5, 4, 3, 2. I only did 1 session in May, unfortunately. But there are a few GMs that they run a session like every 2 or 3 days or every 4 days, and that just blows me away. Some people really are getting into this, and it's amazing to see. I'm looking at some player character data now. There have been over 450 characters played so far. And I don't mean just created as a concept, like they actually played in at least 1 session. Now, lots of players have more than one character. That's typical. Like you might have characters in more than one region in the world, or maybe your character dies and you make a different character. Currently, 229 people have the player role and 48 people have the GM role. And now, of course, not all of these are active, and also every GM also has the player role. But we're estimating that there's currently about 62 active players. At the moment, the vast majority of characters are level 2 through 4, though there are some very active players that have gotten their characters up to level 5 or 6. And there's a few level 7s out there and one level 8 at the moment. All characters start off at level 1, 0 XP, you gotta earn everything. If your character dies, you can make a new character with half the XP of the one who died. As I mentioned, this is a living, persistent world. So your character is actually in that region in Ikoros. And we have this big character tracker spreadsheet that has all the characters, who plays them, how much XP, the treasure they've found, where they're at in the world. Characters can move. There's a couple ways that can happen. One is you can have your character travel along one of the major trade routes in the world and essentially get from point A to point B, or if it's not somewhere that is part of a trade route, then you have to basically pay to hire out like a ship or a caravan or something to get you to where you want to go. I've got some interesting data on what people are playing. In terms of races, 31% of people are playing human, so that's definitely the most popular. Elf is 11%, Dwarf is about 7%, Goliath is 4th place with 4%, Orc has 3%, Aasimar 3%, Dragon 3%. That's the player character dragon out of Monstrous Heroes. Dragonborn 2.6, Kobold, Halfling, Lizardfolk, Goblin, Minotaur from Monstrous Heroes, Gnome, Ogre, that's Monstrous Heroes, Usia, Monstrous Heroes, Tiefling. There are a few unique characters, Hobgoblin, Half-Orc, Lycanthrope from Monstrous Heroes again, Dark Elf, and then 11% of characters have other. It's just this generalized miscellaneous group. If there are less than 5 characters of a given race, they're just going to be in this other or miscellaneous category. Then as far as classes go, 16% are Monstrous Heroes classes. Now there's 17 classes in that book. So that's, all the dragons, minotaurs, lycanthropes, vampires, elementals, etc. All of those are just grouped together in this one slice of the pie, but still, that's pretty cool to see. There's a lot. Fighter is 11%, Rogue 8, Cleric 8, Wizard 7. So the classic 4 D&D classes are like the most popular ones. Barbarian 7%, Ranger 6%, Paladin 5, Druid 5, Monk 5, Warlock 5, Sorcerer 4, Bard 4, Multiclass about 4, Paragon from Esper's Emporium is 2%, and Artificer at the end at almost 2%. A major milestone for Myriad Legends was reached last month in June when I released the campaign setting document. It's a PDF, kind of a simple PDF, but it's now our core document that we use that is putting together all the rules, all the campaign setting information, the lore, the world building, the gods, the XP system we use, treasure tables, bunch of maps, stuff about all the different regions of the world. Very much a work in progress. It's something that I update from time to time, but that was such a milestone for us as we now finally have our foundational document that we can base everything on. It would have been cool to have the campaign setting document from the get-go, but we didn't. We just had a bunch of different documents in our Google Drive. We basically organize everything through Discord and Google Drive, by the way. But yeah, in the beginning, we just had the drive only because we didn't know what this crazy experiment was going to turn into. But by now, it's become this living, growing entity, which is amazing. And so it was very much needed that we have this, comprehensive campaign setting document for everybody to draw from. Okay, so now the call for new applicant GMs. If you are interested in participating in Myriad Legends in the mega campaign, please follow these instructions and we would be very glad to receive you. This will be our 3rd round of applicants, and we're very much hoping to find more high-quality GMs to run great adventures and to help bring the world of Ikoros to life. and particularly to run sessions involved with the great games that are taking place in Bazagon City, aka Gauntlet Runner. That's the big world event that's happening right now. That's like the current season of Myriad Legends. So all the new applicant GMs will be starting off there. Now, what are we looking for with these new applicant GMs? What are the requirements? All right, few things. First of all, is you need to have experience with running 5e games. You don't have to be a total expert, just experienced. You're familiar enough with running 5th edition D&D, and that you have a desire to run great adventures. You need to be able to run games online. It could be through a VTT, or it could be through Theater of the Mind, or some combination of the two. You need to have the availability to run sessions, at least 2 sessions per month, hopefully more, but I think a minimum of 2 per month. And you need to be interested in being a part of the world of Ikoros and playing to its style. Mythic, high fantasy meets also historical. Kind of new school, kind of old school. And how to apply. Please follow these instructions. First, you need to make sure you've joined the Discord server. It's the Esper the Bard Discord server. A link is down in the video description. That will just get you into the general server, not the campaign yet, just the general server. Then send an email to esper@esperthebard.com. That's our centralized inbox for receiving applicants. esper@esperthebard.com. Again, that'll be down below in the description. Your email subject line needs to be your name and your time zone. So like Esper, Central Time, Joe, Eastern Time, Hans, Germany time. That's your subject line. And of course, mention that you're interested in applying for a GM. If you would like to include a little bit about yourself, feel free, you're welcome to do so. Then you will get a response from one of the admins, or maybe even myself, to serve as your guide. So you're not going to be stumbling into this, getting thrown to the wolves. You're going to have a guide helping you through the process. There will be an orientation video to watch that will help explain how we have the Discord community set up. The guide will be your point of contact to help you through the process of getting your pilot session ready and posted. We use a scheduling bot called Apollo that makes scheduling really smooth and efficient. And other than your guide, there's also everyone around the Discord community. It's a really cool community with people that love, mythic adventure and are passionate about contributing to this collaborative experience. And people will be glad to answer questions or help you out. And just to be clear, this is not a pay-to-play campaign. We're all doing this out of the love of it, right? We are all passionate about it, and we're all contributing together to have an actual community. So you have my encouragement here. I would love to see anyone who's interested applying as a Myriad Legends GM. We're really excited for the community to grow, and you just might discover one of the greatest role-playing experiences you've ever had in your life. Now, you might be wondering, I'm not a GM, but what about players? Can I get in as a player? Well, we can't just open up the floodgates to the whole world like that would overwhelm us, and we wouldn't be able to handle that. But there are a couple things you can do. One is join the Discord. From time to time, I put out calls for new players just in the general section of the Discord server. So link down below, join the Esper the Bard Discord. There's a bunch of just general channels and stuff that you can check out and participate in there. And 2, here in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be doing some promoting for my upcoming Kickstarter, Gauntlet Runner. Yes, Gauntlet Runner, the actual book, a campaign book for GMs and players, all about this great games going on in Bazagon, City of Mazes. So I'll be doing promoting here on my YouTube channel, on my Patreon, on Discord, on Facebook, X, just kind of all the platforms. I won't go over the details of that in this video, but I'll just say that pre-launch promoting is going to also tie in to our Myriad Legends community campaign, and is going to be a good way for us to find new players and new applicant GMs who are interested in participating in this thrilling event and also the wider world of Ikoros. So thank you, everybody. You have my heartfelt gratitude for all your support, all your participation. This momentum is building and building, and I'm so excited to see what this all becomes, like what level we can reach with this. And especially thank you to everyone who is a GM in Myriad Legends. I've said it before, and I will keep saying it. You guys are the lifeblood of our community. So you're doing an amazing job, and I'm just so excited every time I think about our awesome mega campaign. All right, that's what I got for now. Send in your email to be an applicant GM, and I will see you around on Discord. As always, may your adventures be many.